because
Appropriations Committee Chair Senator Ben Pangilinan sent a letter to Governor Calvo yesterday calling on the governor to pay out the more than $13 million GovGuam recently received from the federal government. It is the additional child tax credit reimbursement. A release from the senator states that the letter demands that the $13 million be used to pay additional tax refunds. It quotes Senator Pangilinan as saying the reimbursement can only be used to pay refunds as passed in law by the legislature, so holding back on paying refunds does nothing but hurt our people.
It almost defies logic, the statements from Chairman Pangilinan. I can say to that is a day late, dollar short. We had already planned to put this money out to the taxpayers. The money came in less than 2 weeks ago. There is a process for collecting money and for then depositing that money and then for outlaying operational expenses, what's to pay out.
Senator Pangilinan was unavailable for an on-camera interview today. However, in his release, he is also quoted as saying that the pattern of behavior by the administration to mislead the people is wrong and simply politics at its worst. For whatever reason, the governor continues to hold the income tax refund money as ransom for some political agenda.
I have a feeling Senator Pangilinan has been looking at every cash flow report and statement. I see why, because then he wants to take credit for things that he has no reason to take credit.
Senator Pangilinan's release further states, "It baffles me why these funds have not been paid out. I hope the governor isn't waiting for another unnecessary piece of legislation to be introduced so that these funds can be paid out. The law is clear, and the time to pay the people their refunds is now."
We had a game plan, and that was to pay all these past due tax refunds through a single bond series. And of course, they delayed it over many, many months. It was Senator Pangilinan that demanded, again, a separation. It was Senator Pangilinan that took out those monies, those bond proceeds that were supposed to go to tax refunds for other purposes. How can he say stall tactics on paying tax refunds when from the very beginning we wanted to pay all the tax refunds? The only stalling occurred was from the Ways and Means chair.
And Senator Pangilinan also stated, perhaps the governor is trying to leverage not paying refunds to pressure the legislature to implement his unwavering assault on employees and retirees' livelihoods. The media calls them cuts, but really, the governor is just kicking current financial obligations to employees and retirees down the road to a future governor.
Now, Senator Pangilinan seems to be of the feeling that everything is well and fine, pay all the tax refunds, pay all the increments, pay increases, hire everyone. He must recall that we were in a $360 million hole, and he has been the Ways and Means chair as this deficit grew to that. He has to take his head out of the sand and realize the situation that we're in.
Senator Pangilinan's release concludes, although it is hard work to keep this administration open and transparent, I will do the work necessary to hold them accountable and provide the checks and balances to protect the people and their interest over and above elected politicians' personal and political interests.
It is my fiduciary responsibility as a governor of Guam to get us out of this hole that he put us into. And that means now the bitter medicine of having to right size, having to cut benefits, having to do the things that no elected official wants to do but has to do.
Governor Calvo said he expects to introduce legislation to the legislature by the end of next week to cut up to $36 million in spending. The next session begins on Monday. Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.